All right, so here we are. We've had our nanofilter for a year, 12 months, and we're ready to change some filters out. Now I'm going to have it up here on the countertop so everybody can see, but if you remember during the installation we told you to leave long enough tubing so you can actually pull it out from under your sink, maybe put it on a cookie sheet or some kind of tray so it will collect any water that spills over. The first thing you want to do in changing the nanofilter is you want to go underneath to your cold shut-off valve and you want to turn the cold water off. If you have a tank, you want to take the lever on the tank and you want to turn it sideways. This shuts any water from escaping out of the tank. And the last thing is, if you have a faucet up top or if you have an ionizer, you want to turn the ionizer on or open the faucet to let any pressure that's sitting in the lines escape. After that, you're going to find your filter wrench. You'll notice that when you slip the filter wrench on, there's two different ways it can go on. One way is the wrong way, and the filter won't actually slip all the way up. Because you'll see at the end it has these notches, and the notches are designed so the wrench goes on one way. When it's on right, the wrench will almost be at the very top of the filter, as you can see. So to turn the filters tight, it goes this way, to your right. To loosen them, it's going to go to the left. So we'll simply take our filters and loosen them. The first time you loosen them, you might find that they're pretty snug. You can go 2 turns with the wrench, and the rest should work by hand. Once the filter has dropped, you can take the unit, tilt it backwards, and slip the cover off. The next unit will come out by hand, no tools needed. And so you'll see the filter comes out by hand. I'm not going to go through all 3 with you because it all works the same, as long as you see how we do the first one. When you replace your filter, it's always a good idea to take some Chanson strong acid water or some chlorine bleach and spray it inside this container just to sanitize it as an extra measure of protection. You also don't want to handle any filters unless your hands have been washed. So make sure you've washed and sanitized your hands before handling the filters. Put the new filter in place simply by screwing it up into position. And once you feel it get snug, just tighten it down another half a turn. There is no reason to over tighten this. If you over tighten it, you're going to break it. It just needs to be hand snug. Then take the unit here, and you'll notice on the very top of the unit is a rubber O-ring. If you ever have a leak in your system, it's because of this O-ring. And it's because the O-ring has become dry. All you have to do is take a very, very light layer of cooking oil, like an olive oil, and put a light layer of olive oil around that ring. Tilt the unit back and reinstall the cover. Once it's on there fairly hand tight, then you can go ahead and tighten it down to where the label is facing forward again. And no reason to over tighten these. Now on the back, alright, so on the back you'll see that we have 3 filters. The membranes generally don't need to be changed every year unless you've used a huge amount of water, or you're selling water, or you're serving a ton of water. The membranes you have 2 years on. One of the ways to ensure that those membranes last 2 years, and this is a recommendation for maintenance here, every 6 to 8 months of use, you should go under and take this black lever and turn it sideways, turn the water on, and let the water run through the system, down the drain, or collect it for plants, Either way, let it run for a good 10 to 15 minutes. What this is doing is it's back flushing the membranes and getting rid of any sediment or debris that's collected in them. Make sure once you're finished to turn this lever back to the side. Some of you might figure out at some point that if you turn this lever down, your water flow becomes faster. That is not the case. What you're doing is you're flushing nasty, poisonous drain water. I don't want to say poisonous, but basically all the things that we filtered out are coming out of this line. So if you turn this lever, you're kicking some of that toxic water back into your drinking water. Never turn the lever unless you're flushing the system out. It stays sideways at all times. As far as changing the membranes go, they're very simple. If you do this flush procedure every 8 months, you'll have 2 years out of those membranes easy. So we'll grab our pliers, and you'll see that there's only 2 membrane housings, and the cap that comes off has a single line going in it. It's on the opposite end for the bottom line. So here we'll remove this. Lift it off. Take your fingers behind the cap and pull it out of the bracket. Grab the body with one hand and the head with the other and twist the cap off. Now once this cap has come off, you'll see the membrane that you installed. You will not get it out by hand. You're going to have to use a pliers. Take the pliers and clip the inside of the plastic and give it a good firm tug. And you can see where I'm clipping it. You can clip it on the outside, you can grab it on the inside. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter if it breaks, because once this comes out, it goes right into the garbage. Installing your new membrane is just as easy. What I'd recommend before installing new membranes is take some Chanson strong acid water and spray it all inside this container. Spray it in the cap to clean and sanitize the area before putting in the new membrane. I'm not going to bother changing this bottom membrane because it's the exact same method that you've just seen. So you'll reinstall this, reinsert the tube and the nut. So again, the membranes are every 2 years. The last thing you're going to do for the yearly change is this top filter. This is a very important filter because this is your post-carbon filter. This is the last filter that the water goes through. And basically to change this filter, you're going to have to take off the connections on both sides. So let's go ahead and do that now. We'll just undo the nuts and lift them away. And this will pull out of its bracket completely. When you get your new one, it's not going to have any connectors on the end. So all you have to do is twist counterclockwise. Twist these fittings out. You want to use your Teflon tape that we gave you and wrap the threads of these 3 or 4 layers, 3 or 4 times around, and then reinstall these to the new filter. Now if anyone gets confused of the direction of how this should face, remember the sticker is going one way, so it'd be hard to install this backwards because the sticker would end up on the back side. So this is how it should go, but if anybody is still confused, or let's say the sticker fell off, on the back in the plastic there's an arrow that says flow, and it shows you the direction of how the water is going to travel through the filter. Alright, so we're going to take this, and remember this is your new filter. You've put both ends back on. We'll just snap this by pushing it into the brackets, and we'll go ahead and reinstall. Now, when you get this all back together, don't forget that one last process of the install, which is when you turn the water on and the water's running, make sure that you tilt it up on the left side for 1 full minute. That's to bleed the air out of the membranes. If you didn't change the membranes, you won't need to do this step. And then of course you'll tilt it up onto the opposite side for 1 full minute. That's really the only maintenance that you need to do with the Nanofilter. There's nothing else to do. Make sure that you do change your filters on a yearly basis. There's another product that we want to just show you on this video here, and this is a great product to have, especially when you have a major filter system under the sink. This is called the leak control system. We have them available here. I believe they're $45 to $47. It's a tiny investment for what this does. Basically, your water line connects into here, then goes to the filter, and there's a sensor that sits at the bottom of your cabinet. If any drops of water or any leak is detected, this will shut off the water under your sink. This will prevent any floods or any damage to your cabinet. It's called the leak detection system, and I highly recommend, especially if you have a wood floor in your kitchen, that you want to get something like this, because it doesn't matter what quality a plumbing product is. Any plumbing product is susceptible to leaks over time. Thanks for joining us, and again, if anything wasn't covered on this video, please visit our website or give us a call. Our technical support department will be happy to help you. Thanks for joining us, and please give us feedback on how you're doing on this phenomenal water. Thanks for joining us.